Welcome everybody back to another episode of Life Chronicles Deep Dives podcast. I'm here with Coach Cornelia, and she's joining us from Denmark.
Hello, everybody. Hi, Micah. Welcome back.
And today we have an awesome episode for you guys. We wanted to talk about one is a little bit more serious topic, and then the next one's going to be not so serious, as you'll see. It's going to be a little bit more fun. So the first thing that we wanted to talk about was healthcare. So Cornelia, tell me about healthcare in Europe, Romania, Denmark. What's the difference?
First of all, let me tell you why I wanted to talk about this topic. It's because I've seen a girl from United States. She was bitten by a spider, and it got really worse. She started to have very bad symptoms and so on. And she asked ChatGPT if she should go to the hospital. In the meanwhile, everyone was telling her in the comments, "Go to the hospital, go to the hospital." And after a few days, she went to the hospital, but then she explained that it's a very tough decision in the United States to go to emergency room because it's very, very expensive. And then I mean, I didn't know that because in Europe, it's free to go to the emergency room. No matter where you're from or who you are, it's free to go. And this is to encourage people not to stay sick at home and get better. So even if you're in Europe, Germany, France, Austria, Romania, it doesn't matter, Poland, whatever, you get free healthcare, at least in the emergency room, you get free healthcare, even though you don't have an insurance.
Okay. So this
Yeah.
girl, she got bit by a spider. She was doing a video about it, basically just trying to complain about like how American healthcare is so expensive, and she
Mhm.
had to really kind of like, if I'm understanding correctly, like fight, to decide if it was worth the money to go or
Yeah.
whether to stay at home with the
She was
spider
very
bite.
scared. Yeah. She was scared about how expensive it's gonna be.
She's not wrong. So in the United States, right? So they have like codes of honor, I guess. I don't remember what it's called. But they have like they have to treat you. Okay. So if you go into the hospital, they have to treat you, but then they bill you.
Yeah.
Right. Now you can get relief, but a lot of times it's really hard to qualify for the relief, right? So like a lot of hospitals will do payment plans, but it is very expensive. And like it's very expensive to take an ambulance. It's even more expensive if you catch a life flight. So a lot of people are making the decision to like not go to the doctor, not go to the, ER. Not some people don't even do primary care. Um, and so because it's so expensive, and how it plays out is from my understanding, and I've seen videos of this, is that people will go to the doctor, but you don't have like prices. They don't tell you the price on anything. So you can't shop for services, which you should be able to do. You should be able to be like, okay, this hospital offers this procedure at this much. This hospital offers this procedure at this much, right? And you should have that consumer choice. You don't really have that. You go to the hospital and then they're like, oh, we recommend this. And then at the end of it, they tell you, here's your bill. And they got to pay for the nurses, medicines, equipment, energy costs, whatever. But you're still paying this very premium price, and it can deter people from getting the care that they need.
Yeah. I've read that, for example, in Europe, the mortality from chronic diseases is much smaller than in the United States. We have in Europe, we have on universal public health care, which means that every month from your salary, you pay a tax and everything is covered. For example, if only one member of the family is working, all the family is covered by the state. So you can go to your family doctor. He will send you to a specialist if you need to. If you need to get a surgery or something like this, everything is covered. So you're not paying anything. It's very, very seldom cases where you have to pay like a few euros or something like this. But otherwise, everything is free. The vaccinations are free as well. There are people that are doing some private insurance, but it's not worthy as long as you've got this public insurance
Okay,
paid for
so
yourself. Yeah.
Um, when I look at insurance, when I see some videos online of people that go in, and this is kind of like going to go back to what I was talking about before, like, they don't tell you the price, they bill you after, right? So people are deterred from going, but when they go, like if you don't have insurance, the price is generally lower. So if you pay up front, it's lower. But if you have insurance, the price is astronomical. The insurance only pays part of it, and you're stuck with the rest. So
Mhm.
that's another reason why people don't want to go. That's why Obamacare was such a bad idea, because they were like fining people for not having health insurance. And then when they launched this health insurance, the website kept crashing, and it just people got on it, but it would also drove up the price of other insurance. And
Mhm.
so, like, it didn't really help the healthcare industry. The idea, I think, was to get something similar to what you guys have, which is the universal free healthcare. But in the United States, that doesn't really jive with like how our Constitution, the Constitution of the United States, not the document, but the Constitution of us as a whole lines up, for this kind of thing. And some people will advocate for it. The Democrats do advocate for like universal free healthcare. They'll say, look, in Europe it works. Um, I have reservations on it. I think people having the healthcare is important. I also think that insurance companies should not be, like if somebody has insurance, let me give you an example. I watched a video, a guy went, he got a procedure. Um, because he had insurance, they billed him like 15,000 bucks. The insurance paid a third of it. He had to pay the rest. However, if he didn't have insurance, the total cost of the procedure would have been for the whole thing would have been I don't know 2,000 US. So out of pocket pay is less than the insurance, and I think they're just doing that because they know that the insurance gets gouged, but the insurance also knows that they're getting gouged. So then the consumer is left with the astronomical medical costs. Insurance companies will drop people, they'll deny claims, they'll do this, and it just gets very dicey in terms of like the insurance. Me personally, I try to avoid going to the doctor unless it's the emergency room. Now, if there's something that's been bothering me and it's consistent for a while, or I detect something, I'll go into primary care, but I try to stay away from going to the doctor, for every little thing, you know.
Mhm. I mean, I want to say it's healthier this way, probably, because when someone is going to the doctor, they're gonna find something.
Mhm.
But do you have like family doctors? I mean, in here, so every family is having a family doctor. Do you have it like that
So we
over
have
there?
like so you'll have walk-in clinics which still charge you, and even if you have insurance. And so you go in, it's like a prompt care or a walk-in clinic, and it's like a real quick. It's not somebody that you would see all the time. It's not your family doctor or primary care. We have primary care physicians or doctors. Those are your people that you like sign up to for your yearly physicals, and if you have,
Yeah.
you schedule an appointment or whatever. And then you have your ER, and then your specialty, care facilities.
So are you assigned to a doctor, a family doctor? Like, for example, in here,
Okay.
you're going to your closest family doctor. So 2 streets from here, there is a family doctor. So all of us in the area are assigned to that family doctor. And the
So,
family
yeah, I
doctor
mean, it's by
decides
region.
by region. Okay.
Yeah, because like I have not necessarily what you're saying, but because I'm in a where I live in a very small community, there's very little choices. Now in a bigger city, you'd have a lot more options. So you
Mhm.
could say, well, this doctor's closer, but this doctor's better, that's farther away, and then pick that doctor. You're not assigned to a specific one. Yeah.
Yeah, you can choose here as well, but everyone is choosing the closest one usually.
Mhm. So the
Yeah.
universal healthcare thing, it comes out of your paycheck, one person's paycheck in the family, and then you can go to the ER, you can go specialty care. That includes surgeries and all that too.
Everything. Yes, everything.
That's impressive. And so I think the issue is that when I look at universal healthcare, for me, it was when the Obama administration decided they were going to fine you if you didn't have health insurance, but then they let in, this is a little bit more. That they let in all these illegals that didn't have this health insurance or health screenings, even. They're bringing in all these diseases, and but they weren't fining these people, like you, and then they're giving them free stuff. So when I look at universal healthcare, I look to Canada, and Canada has a big problem because they have universal health care. And I don't know if it's picked out from your paycheck or whatever it's picked out from, but what happens is it's like people will go if they have a terminal disease. I've seen a young lady with a terminal disease. She went to the doctor, her primary care, and or scheduled an appointment. And the problem is that appointment was a year later. And that was just to get checked up. She got
Mm.
her checkup. They turned out that she had like a brain tumor, and the treatment consultation was a year later. And I'm thinking in my head, like, she's probably going to be dead by the time
She get,
there's been other cases like that where like the universal health care has failed the consumer or the person because the wait times are
Mhm.
so long.
I mean, we have an American. She moved in Romania, and she had like family cancer problem, and she needs to be screened every 2 years. And she was talking about this that in the United States, it's besides the fact that it's very expensive, it's very hard to get a place to a spot to do it.
Mhm,
When she moved to Romania and she's paying this tax every month,
mhm,
in 2 weeks she's been screened. So everything that is an emergency, you get really fast to it. If it's something, for example, me for my back, I've been waiting for about maybe 1.5 months to get screened. So it depends on what your problem is. But when it's something serious or they believe it's serious, you're gonna get in much faster. We don't have this problem in Europe. The waiting time is not that long.
mhm. So, uh, and I want to swing back because a few episodes ago I talked about a lady that, I had tried to reach out to and talk to, and then she called me names and stuff like that. She was recently posting about how she needed to acquire something for, some transition that she was going through in life, not a trans transition, but like something that she was going through. I don't want to go into her personal medical stuff, but she had been talking about it, how she needed something or wanted something and she couldn't get it from her primary care doctor. And that's another problem I have. Not only do they not like lay out the prices for procedures so you can shop for, the best price, or you can't do that. What you can't also do is you can't go to your doctor. I remember when COVID came out, they were not allowing people to get ivermectin. You had to like go jump through hoops to get this medicine. Turns out ivermectin worked to fix COVID, right? All these vaccines and stuff that they were pushing, they doxed people, they shamed them, they canceled them, they called them names about ivermectin. Turns out it was the one drug that works, which also is a problem with healthcare. Healthcare is designed, in my opinion, based off of what I'm seeing, to make money. It's designed to get patients, keep patients, and hook them, right? So we get a patient, we assign them a disease. Now we can prescribe them a drug that's big pharma recommended to treat this that has any number of side effects. My
Mhm.
other issue with that is that you can't go to your doctor. Let's say if and you're seeing a change in this now where you can go to like private doctors that will prescribe you things that, maybe a primary care would be less inclined to do. They're a business, they'll prescribe you what you want. You know what I mean? So, like, you could go to the doctor, let's say, if you wanted some drug. There's a drug out there, it's called BPC 157. I do know that it's banned by the World Anti-Doping Agency. So if you were trying to compete competitively, you couldn't use it. But it's a peptide. You take it, and it's made from gastric juices of humans, and it's like some sort of salt. And it heals the body. So it heals ligaments, tendons, muscle repair, neurological repair, mood improvements. There's several drugs that you can get that enhance performance, right? Soldiers are deterred from taking testosterone. I mean, obviously there's health effects, but are the health effects for these performance enhancing drugs worse than what you're seeing for, like on the commercials? We've talked about it before. You guys don't have commercials in Europe. On the TV, I can turn it on right now, and in 5 minutes, I'll have a commercial for a drug, and it'll say, may cause vomiting, diarrhea, rashes, brain tumors, aneurysms, in some cases, death. I'm like, you listen to that, and then you look at the side effects for some of these performance enhancing drugs, and you're like, well, why aren't we taking it? Because I don't think they want us to improve our lives. I think they want us to stay sick and be sick, so that way they can get us on a drug. I mean, that's my opinion because big pharma funds a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I'm not trying to become a
In,
target here, so
But over there, it's like this, it's a huge business with the insurance agencies. I guess, I mean, everything goes through them. So if the prices are higher, it's because they have the money to pay, so the doctors are profiting from it, I guess. So
Mhm.
it's like a never-ending circle, and no one is stopping it. In here, they are controlled by, I mean, you cannot put any price you want. If you're a private hospital, you have to work with the state. You have to so if you have a private hospital in Romania, for example, you have to work with the state. So the state is going to pay for the patient, not the patient. So you have to work with the state, and you have to keep the prices to the normal range of prices. You cannot go as up as you want to and charge the state with it. Yeah. So from this point of view, it's not such a everywhere the medicine is. I mean, healthcare is a huge business, but in Europe, I think it's much less than it is over there.
Hmm. And you brought up a point in a previous episode where we talked about how like AI is advancing. We talked about the medical advancements of using AI. I mean, I think you're going to see a lot of people using Chat GTP or
Mhm.
Grok or some sort of AI to even like you can pay to like let's say if you want go get an X-ray or something, you can keep that data on a disk or whatever. They may not like to give it to you, but they'll give it to you. And then you can upload that into Grok and or I don't know about ChatGPT, at least Grok, and it will start diagnosing you probably better than a human. So you may see a massive decrease of people going to hospitals. So my
Mm-hmm.
worry with that is going to primary care, because they'll be like, okay, well, I've got this diagnosis. I can get this treatment here. I can just skip the doctor, the insurance, big pharma, and I can just get, what I need
Yeah,
from this private pharmacy right here. I go to a
exactly.
consultation here and then I can get it. I think that's great. I think people should be able to have the choice to do what they want with their healthcare, right? I mean, we hear it all the time, in women's marches, my body, my choice. That should apply to everybody when it comes to their healthcare.
Yeah, I agree. And
I know we talked about Chinese AI advances in medicine and, like what they're doing. I mean, there's also stuff that we have to worry about in terms of like, what are people doing with malicious intent? With healthcare? Are they working on like bioweapons? Are they working on genetic mutations? Like what kind of things are happening? I think we've talked about AI again. One movie that I thought was really good was Upgrade, and I know I recommended that to you before. But basically, what happens is like this guy he gets in an accident. They put this chip on his spine or something, and then it can like control his body. And I watched it because it's like a great sci-fi movie, but it's got great fight scenes in it. So I
mhm,
was watching it, and uh there's a I was watching it and it was just great. I recommend Upgrade to everybody. And in terms of healthcare, I'd love to see where we're going. I just worry about the profiteering that's happening in medicine because we're getting further away from doctors being doctors and more of
mhm.
doctors just being prescribers. And I'm not saying that's for everybody. I'm not saying that's everybody. I'm saying that I see it. And, if I'm seeing it on videos or I'm seeing it in person, it's got to be happening at large scale.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen doctors in the United States that are paid by for example, a company is developing a drug, and if they are recommending this drug, they're gonna get a percent from it. Is it
Mhm.
true?
Yeah, like a kickback. I will
Mm-hmm.
see that. So like a
Yeah.
doctor will work with companies where they'll advertise something. Even in the room, you could just see like an advertisement for something in a room, and it's like they like a sponsorship or something. But a lot of times doctors will be like, "Oh yeah, I prescribed this medication." Big pharma, the company that makes that medication, may give the doctor a kickback. I think that happens with vaccines as well. Like, is if the doctor gets so many vaccines out from so and so company, they get a kickback, which means that we're not really focusing on health, and the doctor may believe that those things are good for the patient, but I firmly believe that there could be other ways to tackle healthcare than what we've been doing, which is go to the doctor, medication. I mean, obviously, if you need a medication, don't not take it, right? I'm not, don't take medical advice from me. I'm just, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But like, uh, if if we need to move away from the profiteering in the healthcare industry, and that's my main concern with the healthcare industry is, and in insurance is the profiteering that's happening uh, off of it, off of
It's
human
very,
bodies.
I've read that it's very, very expensive, the insurance over there. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, you could shop around now for your insurance, so that's helpful. So you can pick different insurance. If you join the military, you get, you get a specific insurance that's covered. If you get out of the military, you can use the VA in certain circumstances, so that's also good. Um, but I think it's very hard for people, you're right, to make the decision to go to the doctor for everything if every time it's going to be costing more. But now we have more and more expenditures. Costs, went up the last 4 years. I mean, it looks like hopefully it'll start to come down now, but usually when something's up, it doesn't really like to come down. You know what I mean? Like that's the hard part is like you can try to manage it at a flat line, but trying to get companies that are making so much money to make less is going to be really hard.
But you know what? The prices are so high, but the income is the same, or maybe it's smaller than 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So they're making a lot of money.
Lots of money. That plus advertisements. All right. So the next topic that we're going to bring into this one is going to be a little fun. So we both have pets, and we hope that those of you that are not allergic to pets also share in our love and joy for animals. So Cornelia, tell us about your pets and how you just move about life with them.
I could not live without animals in the house. So my father was a veterinarian, so we've always had some kind of animal in the house. But mostly we've had dogs. So my favorite animal is the dog, of course. I've always wanted, since I was a kid, I wanted a dog of my own with the name Oliver. And it was a beagle, and he was the greatest joy of my life, except my family, because that dog changed me in ways that I never thought it's gonna happen. And when he died, I still feel him around. But when he died, it was like a pillar of the family was gone.
Mm,
This is how that dog was. And now we have two chocolate Labradors, and a girl and a boy. It's very nice to have two dogs of the same breed, and as crazy as the Labradors. Sometimes they can become overwhelming, but it's so nice to have them uh doing the same gestures, sometimes they sit like at the same in the same place and they're doing like this all the time, or like this, or the same gestures. It's so funny to see them, and they bring us so much joy. It's like we would never have a complete family without our dogs.
Yeah, pets do make great family members because, like, once you bring them in, like, you care for them, and like they grow with you, they learn you. In some cases, they run you. So you have dogs.
Especially if you have a cat like you have.
I do have a cat, and he's very picky about his food. He's picky about when he eats. He wakes me up in the middle of the night to eat, or my wife. So because he's more of a nocturnal type, so we feed him starting in the evening, and then it goes throughout the night. And then he doesn't eat during the daytime, and then and so forth. When I was younger, you mentioned you had a beagle named Oliver. When I was younger, through the age of 3, we had two beagles, my mom and my dad. After they got divorced, didn't have any pets for a while, and then my mom was like, "Okay, we can have pets." And then I got a couple of guinea pigs, Alexandria and Sam, not at the
Mm.
same time, one after the next. And then after that, it was, I would go, after both of them passed, I would go and catch toads. When I was getting ready to join the Navy, a cat was on a highway, and I saw the cat, and I didn't know it was a he or she at the time. I went to the gym. The sun was still out. When I came out of the gym after I did my pool, my swim, and my workout, the cat was in the parking lot. The gym's next to the highway, so the highway runs like this. The gym was behind it. The cat was in the parking lot, meow meow, jumped on my chest and didn't let go. So I just grabbed her, and we got in my car, and I said, "Hey, at the time, uh, my ex-wife, I was like, we're bringing her home." So we kept her with my ex for a while. And then, eventually we kept her. She became part of the family. She recently passed, I believe it was last year. And then we cremated her. And so, like, I have her in a box because she was part of the family. If
Yeah.
you know what I mean. She grew up around Kinsley, and in fact, when she passed, she went under Kinsley's bed to pass. And I wonder if that was because she wanted to be near, like my scent, or, she just knew Kinsley, she just wanted to be that comfort. I don't know. And then now I have a Bengal cat named Leo, and he is the cutest, darndest thing. He's a little rascal.
And it's a very, very beautiful cat you have.
Yeah. And
Uh,
he's
mm.
so playful. We took him out, and he's taking a nap over there in his little hammock right now.
So the cats are the bosses in the house. The
Yes.
dogs are fun. But talking, you're saying that when your cat died, she went under the bed.
Mhm.
So it's the same like my dog died. It's
Hmm.
exactly the same way. So he had a terminal disease, like all the beagles have this disease, as far as I understood from the doctors. And I really didn't want to take him to the doctor to put him down. I just couldn't do it. And I was talking to him and telling him, please, can you do something to ease this thing? I couldn't imagine I'm taking him out, taking him to the doctor, and then bringing him dead at home. So somehow he did this, like he went to sleep. I felt that, and I told my family, please say goodbye because tonight Oliver is gonna go. And then the next morning, I found him with his head and half of his body under the bed. And we cremated him as well, and we have him in a small urn.
Mhm.
Always talking to him and just telling him things and telling him what these other ones are doing. Because
Mhm.
Tommy, the boy, the older one, he was raised by Oliver for almost 1.5 years. So he's very well trained in many aspects by Oliver.
I think we've had a couple episodes where they've popped in a few times. I don't know
Mhm.
if I don't know if it came out in post or you left it in or not, but um, it's always cute to see them, just like popping up or like in the back. I think I seen in another episode they were on behind you there, and I'm just like, oh, they're never far. And Leo is generally in a room where we are at, except at night he's out here, he's patrolling, he's sitting, whatever, or unless he's sleeping in the bed. He doesn't like to cuddle too much, but he at night he'll patrol at the house. In the daytime he's in his hammock over there sleeping, but he's never far away. Generally, whatever room you're in, he will be there and he'll follow you there. And if you're using the restroom, he's standing there guard. He,
Yeah.
they build this. I mean, you
Mhm.
are their world when you think about it. And then they're small creatures, they're family members, and then pets are great. I think pets are great.
Yeah, me too. Same with the dogs. And recently I've read that they are coming after us because they want to protect us.
Mhm.
They are kind of worried when, for example, when I get up and go to the kitchen or whatever, they're immediately they are getting, no matter what they're doing, even if they are sleeping very hard or whatever, they get up and come with me. And then I read that they are very worried for you and they want to protect you. And
Mhm.
then I'm thinking, how can I make them less worried? You can't. It's how they are. It's their love for us, is the like this protection feeling that they have to take care of their family, because we are their family too. They are our family and we are their family.
So, what makes you lean towards dogs over cats? I mean, everybody's got their preference, right? Some people like hedgehogs or reptiles, snakes, spiders.
Yeah,
Some people have
me.
pet
The
tarantulas, scorpions,
second, the second animal I like is snakes.
snakes. Yeah.
Uh,
And those are interesting. My buddy had a lot of pets at his old house. I lived with him for a while, and he had chinchillas, ferrets, emperor scorpions, boa constrictors, bearded lizards. He had Pomeranians, which is a very small yappy dog. He had
mhm.
a cat, and then I'm trying to remember what else he had. I mean, he just had all these pets. And I think pets are great because they just become part of the family, and then it's so sad to see them go at the end. Leo was I was looking actually for a serval. And we have a friend that has like a serval, big cat.
Mhm.
This is why I pick cats over dogs, because if you look at the animals that are still alive today, the direwolf was extinct until a few months ago when a team of scientists, I guess they genetically brought a pair of direwolves back to life. So that'll be interesting to see them in full size. But besides that, you get your regular wolf, timber wolf, gray wolf, whatever, domesticated dogs. But cats, you've got panthers, lions, cheetahs, tigers. They're still big. Not as big as the saber tooth, thank God, because I think they'd probably eat me.
I used to have cats at the same time with dogs, so I've never not have dogs. I've always had dogs. The cat that I was having was like those ones with blue eyes. I don't remember the breed. Beautiful cat, but she was not friendly at all. Like she was hating us all.
Mm,
Um,
mhm.
yeah, so
They're
there are
like
some breeds that
running the show.
just don't like humans. Just give me something to eat and just leave me alone. Mind your own business. Don't come. If I wanted to kiss her or to do some to pet her or something, she was always angry and looking at us like this. And then I said, no. My mom had a very, very beautiful cat, and she was black with yellow eyes. And I remember my father brought it from somewhere, and my mom said, "I don't want any animals, any cats in the house. Isn't it enough? We used to have a small dog." And then that cat became my mom's best friend. My mom was saying that she was talking to the cat and the cat was answering her back. Meowing, of course, but like she could understand what my mom was saying.
Mhm.
That cat could feel when I was crying, she would come to me and try to, I don't know, like, I don't know how it's called when they are just pushing you with a, like this, you know? What
Needy.
this is. So you were asking why did I choose dogs over cats? Because the kids are two divas for me. The dogs are over coming with me everywhere. They're always wanting to have a good time. They want you to throw the ball. The cat will never want you to throw the ball. So that's the kind of person I am. Maybe more active, more. I don't know. I like to go walking with them. But I've seen that you're taking the cat out as well, right? We're not doing it very much in Europe. So the cat just goes out by herself, himself, themselves, and they just come back. I have seen that you are taking your cat out.
Yeah, we put him in a little harness, and
Mm-hmm.
then he kind of takes a couple of steps when we take him. We try to take him to the beach, or we'll probably take him to the woods or something, just to get him out of the house. We put
Mm-hmm.
him in a little like cat backpack, and then it's got like a bubble, and we'll take him to the store. Trying to do it as many on Sunday trip to like the store. Before we record, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go to the store, and then we'll be back to record. We're taking him. That's probably why he's over there asleep right now, just because he had so much stimulation early in the morning. But he sleeps most of the day, most of the night, and then when he's up, he can be quite the pest. You're right. He doesn't he doesn't he makes me feed him. Essentially, what it comes down to, right? Because he will become a nuisance. Um, but the good news is he lets me know when he's hungry, right? And that means I'm generally not wasting food, because I'll put it in there, and then the last meal that he gets is 3:30 a.m. in the morning, somewhere around there. But he wakes me up for that, and then he doesn't eat whatever's left in there from the feeding. So we try to do like sorry, 3 p.m., 6 p.m., 9 p.m., and then 3 a.m. So whatever's left, and we're just doing like canned foods. But yeah, he's particular. He only likes one type of canned food. He does do tricks. So the difference between like a Bengal cat and like like most cats, and you can train cats, but some of them like house cats, tabbies, whatever, they don't really want to learn. He has a capacity to learn. So slightly higher intelligence. They do tricks. He can do jump. He can do spin. He can do come here, sit down. He can do jump up. He knows a couple of tricks. We didn't really do a whole bunch, but just enough that we can. He doesn't really do it unless we got a treat. Like if I'm like Leo, come here, he's not coming. He's not doing it.
Yeah. So I have my best friend has she loves cats and she's got a bunch now, but she had one specifically. She was this just like Leo. She was waking her up at 3:30. No matter how late in night she was eating, if she was eating at 12, 10 p.m., whatever,
Mhm.
at 3:30, 3 around that time, she would wake her up making a noise like she was sitting next to her bed and doing like this on something like a metallic something.
Mhm.
She could find anything in the house to make some noise to just to wake her up.
Mhm.
And she was so annoyed by it at the same time she was loving that cat so much. And she was saying, I'm very grateful that even though she's old, she's still wanting food and so on. So you're feeding the cat many times a day. The dogs are supposed to eat just once a day.
Mhm. Well, and
So
they usually have a bowl, right? And then you just have stuff in there, and then they come and get it, or
okay. They don't have food
oh, they
during
don't. You serve it to them. Okay.
yeah every day at 7 p.m. they
Mhm.
are having it. The girl, Dottie, she's asking for it. Like when it's 6, 6.5, she starts to yell for food. But the boy, if you're not feeding him, he's not gonna say anything. If you forget one night to feed him, he will never ask for it. But she is crazy with food. I mean, she will cry and she will walk around the house. She will bark and she will do anything to get that food.
Mhm.
So she loves to eat. He loves to eat as well. The Labradors don't have that center of eating. They don't know if they're full. So if you feed them um, like 10 kilos of food, they will eat everything because they don't have that center that says that they're full. So we have to be very careful with them not getting fat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's another thing that, is interesting. And I do not like it. This is not doesn't have anything to do with food. I do not, but I mean, it kind of does. I do not like it if I see an animal that is grossly overweight
Mm-hmm.
or an animal that is grossly underweight. And I like any type of animal abuse, right?
Yeah.
Will irritate me. Yesterday, we were on the highway, so I couldn't really stop or do anything. But a lady was walking her dog and she turned around and the dog was stopped. And she turned around with one hand like this, another hand like this, and just yanked this dog so hard this way.
Mm,
The dog went like this off the ground. And like
mm.
I was like that could have like choked the dog, disconnected, blood vessels, the neck
Mhm.
could have damaged, nerves or whatever. And it irritated. It stuck with me. I was talking about it with my wife like the whole way home. I wasn't talking. I was just like really upset with it. And I finally said, yeah, I'm really upset with it. Um, these animals are in our care. They rely on us for food, care, love. We are their world. And anybody that abuses that, whether they're, overfeeding, underfeeding, fighting their animals, whether they're hitting them, whether they're, yanking it, that right there, to have somebody that is something your pet that looks up to you, that loves you, and to hurt it intentionally, that very bad. I'm having trouble with the words because I could say I can feel that I want to be aggressive about it because I just don't like it. So don't do it.
What I feel is that the people that are hurting animals are not in their minds, normal minds. They're mostly, I think, they are psychopaths.
There's actually I can't remember what it's called, but they can't diagnose sociopathy until a certain age.
Hmm.
So there are indicators
Yeah.
that are early on in childhood that they then diagnose as this, like, I don't remember what it's called. It's like antagonistic something disorder. I don't know what it is. Um, if anybody knows what I'm talking about, put in the comment section. But it's basically like one of the indicators is like, do they, torture animals, right? It's a pretty good indicator at childhood that they will end up, with they probably already are developing into this dark personality type. And it's a power play, right? People that fight their animals are doing it for money, so there's greed involved.
Mhm.
But to a degree, the animal can only do what it's being guided to do. So
Sure.
it's the human's ultimate responsibility with the higher conscience to direct that animal in a way that it can thrive and be loved and cared for.
Sure. I mean, I cannot imagine to have a pet. It doesn't matter what kind of pet, and hurting that pet. I cannot imagine how someone could do it when they are so loyal to us. Even if it's a cat. I mean, we are more loyal to cats than they are to us, probably. I'm not sure, but the dogs are very loyal. Uh, I cannot imagine someone doing something hurtful to an animal, but there are many people who are doing it, unfortunately. But I've seen online lately such great communities coming around. some places, I mean, people who love animals, horses, dogs, cats, whatever, trying to make some shelters, and the people are gathering around these communities. They're donating food and money and so on. And I find it so great to see people from around the world. I mean, you can see, for example, there is a horse shelter in the States where they want to close it because they don't have the money, and they should put the horses down. And everyone in Europe, it's like a trend now. This uh, shelter for horses is trending in Europe, and everyone is donating, so it
Mhm.
won't be closed. Which I find amazing. I mean, you can see that the humanity still has a chance in this love for animals.
Mhm. Absolutely. And, to end it on a positive note, we should all love and cherish our pets, all animals, all forms of life. I mean, when I'm outside and I see a squirrel or a deer, and I think it's cute, and I just take a picture of it and I send it to my wife or something like that. It's just like those small moments. It doesn't have to be your pet, but you remember animals, life, unless it's trying to kill you, respect it and be nice to it.
Sure, I agree.
Well, thank you everybody for joining us on this episode. Please don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and then check out our links in the description box below for our website. And we'll see you in the next one.